I'm gonna start by saying that I've never played a game in which I've been involved so much in a community like GTFO, but some part of me dies when I just see one misconception after another when it comes to how people play this game. We call skillful things cheese, but actual cheese strats, which is completely wrong. And with GTFO slowly becoming more popular, I've been watching many streamers in which some of them just cheese their way into the deeper levels, giving some of the viewers an unrealistic expectation on how hard the game's supposed to be and how the game's supposed to be played. So in this video, I will show you my belief on what is cheese and bring light on why I think that way, and maybe change someone's mind or educate people in the process. So let's stop with the memes and let's talk about it. So let's talk a little bit about Bhopping. This is probably the most misunderstood one by new players since it kills the number one thing that people care about when they start this game up, and that is immersion. I understand that immersion is important to get an enjoyable experience in a game like this, but not because it kills immersion doesn't mean that it's a maximum cheese to win stealth. You can destroy rooms by doing stealth the normal way, or the intended way, by just walking and crouching. The rules doesn't change because you suddenly start jumping. You have to understand the stealth mechanics first to do it. And Bhopping, the only thing that it allows you is to cover more distance in between the clusters of singles enemies. So the advantage is not too much, it just reduces the time you spend sitting waiting for them to turn off. So if you're going around just spamming space, grabbing your hammer and thinking you can just kill everything and you're gonna trigger a room obviously, then you're a fool. That's not how Bhopping works. I personally don't consider it a cheese because you actually have to become good or master a game mechanic to pull it off. If you're not good at stealth and you just start spamming and jumping around and try to hammer everything, then you're gonna mess it up 9 times out of 10. Sound barriers by 2 rooms away or distance, I don't think they're cheese. If you're shooting, you're expending resources, and like in this clip, if you didn't clean the room properly, then you'll risk triggering the rest of the room, so you'll get punished by shooting the scout. So there's a balance in there, so I don't personally think it's cheese. Also, there's not too many places in which you can use the 2 rooms away rule thing, so I think they're fine. So funneling through doors. If you were not aware, depending on how the room is set up and how the zone is laid out, you can open a door that will force the sleeper to go to that open door, since the sleepers take the easiest path and fastest one to you. So if you open that door, the game qualifies that as easy, since they don't have to go through a door, put the sleeper and break the door in there, so they'll go through the open door. This is actually quite hard to judge sometimes, because sometimes the sleeper get to you in 2 to 3 seconds, sometimes it takes slightly longer than that, and depending of enemy collision and things like that, they might get to you faster, they might get to you slower. And like I mentioned before, depending on the room setup, it might be probably the best setup on that alarm, or might be the just slight advantage that you can get. Like personally, on that class 4 S1, it's easier to let them come through the small door, because you can easily funnel them through the big from the stairs in there. With Helena you can just penetrate like all of them. So I don't know, it depends on on your perspective. We can use R5B3 for example to see how we can make a somewhat difficult scan to a more convenient one to do. Of course, this is a B tier, so the way they design the levels from a B tier compared to the lower and deeper levels, you know, the B tier is gonna have more doors in between you and the enemies than a C tier, for example. So level design heavily affects the way this works. So would I put this in the cheese category? Not really. What happens if you trigger a scout and then you have a wave spawn on a particular door that people use that to funnel? Then they break that door and you can use that door to funnel. Like, are you cheesing? Like, no. This is mostly game knowledge. I wouldn't say abusing pathing or anything like that because you're not exploiting, like, you're not door juggling in a solo, for example. You're playing a team game. So I wouldn't put this as a cheese. It makes some of the alarms more convenient and easier to do, but I wouldn't put them in the cheese category. Now, if you're doing any of this, then you're cheesing. Straight up. You're cheesing 100% of the time. I hope you understand what I would put as cheese and my perspective about it, and I hope you know what a cheese is in this game. Perhaps. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching and see you next one.